Hola Unconventionals, I'm Amelia.
And I'm JP.
And we're sharing our unconventional life with you from Ecuador.
And if you're thinking about moving to Ecuador, it's a good idea to visit first. At least Amelia thought so.
Yes, I did.
So in this video, we're going to tell you how to get the most out of your exploratory trip to Ecuador.
Our videos show you what it's really like to live in Ecuador. So if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button now and ring the bell so you're better prepared for your visit.
We also wanted to let you know that we shared an interview over on our new channel, Live Abroad Now. It's all about health insurance in Ecuador, comparing the public and private options. I'll put a link to that above Amelia's head, as always, and in the description below, so you can go check that out.
Before we dive into our tips for getting the most out of your exploratory trip to Ecuador, we do want to mention vaccines.
Yeah, we get this question a lot. The CDC website recommends a whole long list of vaccines that you should get before you come to Ecuador or South America. We did not get any when we visited Ecuador or when we moved here. If you're staying in the high mountain cities like Cuenca or even the coastal region, you probably don't need to get any vaccines unless maybe you have a pre-existing health condition. If you're planning on going to the Amazon rainforest jungle, you might want to get at least a yellow fever or a couple of those jungle vaccines.
But, don't take our word for it. Definitely check it out with your doctor, especially if you do have pre-existing conditions.
And now for the 10 tips to get the most out of your exploratory trip to Ecuador. And the first one is, if you have a little bit more time, you might want to consider taking a tour bus around Ecuador.
Yes, we've heard great things about Ecuador Hop, Wanderbus, and Ecuador Expat Journeys.
Yes, these will give you a high-level overview of some of the most popular expat cities. Doesn't go to all of them. Most of the buses will start out in Quito, where you get off the airplane, and then they go west to Manta, down to Salinas, back to Guayaquil, up to Cuenca, and then back to Quito. And you can stop in different cities and get a different perspective of the places a lot of expats like to live.
Exactly. We like Ecuador Hop and Wanderbus because they are both hop-on, hop-off buses. So you can stay in a little bit longer in areas of your choosing. So you can kind of customize your trip.
Yeah, with the Ecuador Expat Journeys, if that is very specific to expats or future expats who are considering a move here, they take you to some of the really popular areas, give you property tours, show you some of the restaurants. You actually get to meet people who live here. So that is a really good option if you are seriously considering a move to Ecuador.
Our next tip is to choose 1 or 2 cities to visit, especially if you're short on time, if you really only have 1 or 2 weeks to visit.
Yeah, it can take quite a while to get between cities. A lot of people don't realize that, and they try to see too much while they're here, and then they don't really get a good feel for where they might want to live.
Yeah, that can be overwhelming and exhausting. You definitely want to have fun on your exploratory trip. We do have an article over on liveabroadnow.com that talks about the popular cities for expats, so you might want to check that out to help narrow down your options.
Yeah, if you're not an experienced world traveler, we really recommend Cuenca as your starting point. It's a very developed city. It's going to feel a lot more like home. You're going to have less culture shock. There's a lot more English speakers there and a large expat community. You might need a little time to adjust to the altitude though, because it can get pretty tough on some people.
Yes. If you like the coast, we recommend Manta. It is newly developed. They have new amenities and a brand new hospital. There are more expats there than there are in Salinas, and it's much safer than Guayaquil.
Our next tip is to spend as much time as possible in each city or in the city where you think you might want to live.
Yeah, it's really important to get a good feel for the city. Take your time and feel the culture.
Yes, and you can stay in Ecuador for 90 days on the tourist visa. A lot of people ask us about the tourist visa. You don't have to apply for it ahead of time. You get it at the airport when you get off the airplane. It's good for 90 days. Toward the end of the 90 days, you can go apply for a 90-day extension, and that there's a fee associated with that. You have to go to the ministry office to apply for it, and you can only do that once every 5 years. But staying here at least 90 days would give you a really good feel. 6 months, man, you would really know for sure if you want to move here.
Yes, you would. And our next tip, don't try to squeeze in a trip to the Galapagos or the Amazon, especially if you're only going to be here for a week or 2, because they are not day trips.
No, it takes a long time to get there, and while those places are cool and exotic, they are not going to help you determine if you want to live in Ecuador.
Although some people do live in the Amazon, but most people would not start off their new adventure living abroad in the Amazon.
No, and the other cool thing is that once you become a resident, you get discounts off of tickets and admissions into Galapagos. So it's actually a lot cheaper and easier to get there once you already live in Ecuador.
Our next tip, and we think this is probably the most important tip, is to live like a local.
Yeah, that means rent a place with a kitchen, go to the grocery stores, the mercados, buy food, cook for yourself. Just don't eat out every meal like a tourist. That's what we did. We rented a place with a kitchen and determined that it was pretty much the same as it was back in Denver. We ate pretty much the same.
Yes, we did. And also we test drove the internet. So if you work remotely, practice working remotely from Ecuador. It's the same as it is anywhere in the world, but it's nice to know for yourself, get that comfort level and take the mystery out of things. Also, you should go ahead and call your family and check in just like you would wherever you're from.
Yeah, do a video call with them. They like that.
Yep.
Show them where you are.
Yeah, that's fun.
And also check out what's on television. Look at the local programming to see what is playing. As far as finding a place to live or to stay while you're here, we recommend Apartamentos Otorongo in Cuenca or Gran Colombia Suites in Cuenca. Those are both really good options. They provide everything for you, all of the kitchen stuff, so you can just pretty much move in and start living there.
Exactly. You can also check out Gringo Post if you're staying in Cuenca for rentals, short-term and long-term rentals, or OLX.com, which is Ecuador's version or Latin America's version of Craigslist. However, I don't know how much English is spoken on that website.
Yeah, not a lot. Also, we really recommend Airbnb. Most landlords list their properties on Airbnb in Ecuador. A lot of people have reservations about Airbnb, but we've stayed in several in Ecuador. In fact, we have a whole playlist of them. I'll put a link above Amelia's head and in the description so you can go see where we've stayed in Ecuador. We've had really good experiences here and really enjoyed our Airbnb in Ecuador.
Yes. Our next tip, and one that we highly recommend, is to take a neighborhood tour.
Yeah, we did one of those with Javier from Apartamentos Otorongo in Cuenca. I'll put a link to that above Amelia's head. He can customize a tour around Cuenca for you.
Yeah, you can also contact a real estate agent for sale or for rent properties before you arrive in Ecuador, and they can show you areas and take you on some neighborhood tours as well.
Yeah, and when you see areas that you like, make sure and make note of those and then go back and walk around the areas, look for restaurants and stores, grocery store, mercado. Maybe you want to live closer to El Centro or closer to a shopping mall. So it's good to go back and see if you can feel comfortable living there.
Exactly. The other thing you can do, which I love and I highly recommend, is to take a city bus tour. Cuenca has an awesome city bus tour. We've taken it multiple times, even though we live there. It's super fun, and it's just a great way to get an overview of the area.
Okay, so you've been here for a week or two and you've fallen in love with the place like we did and you decide you want to move back. Our next tip is to meet with a visa agent while you're here.
Yeah, that's what we did when we were here for our exploratory trip. We met with Maite from Gringo Visas, and that was really nice to meet her in person. It really increased our comfort level, and she took the time to explain the entire process to us so we knew what to expect.
Yeah, there are a lot of other visa agents to choose from, and we know people who get their visa on their own without any help. However, most of them are fluent in Spanish.
Yes.
Kind of a requirement. The nice thing about working with a visa agent, though, is that they'll give you a list of all the documents you need to submit your application. So when you go back home to the U.S. or your home country, you can start assembling all those documents and be better prepared when it's time to submit the application.
If you want more information about Ecuador residency visas, we have a new video over on Live Abroad Now, and JP will put a link right above my head.
Yeah, and if you're watching on television, those cards don't work, so you have to go to the website to see those and click the links to our videos.
Our next tip is along the lines of meeting with a visa agent, and that is meeting with a shipping company if you're considering bringing all of your belongings in a container to Ecuador.
Yes, it's quite expensive. It can cost between $2,000 and $10,000 or even more. Visa agents are also kind of expensive, so it's really nice to meet with these people in person while you're here to get that warm fuzzy when you have to transfer large sums of money to them.
Exactly. And it can be very involved, so it's helpful to meet with a shipping container company so that they can really explain the ins and outs, and you can decide if you want to go through all of that. You have to follow very precise rules.
Yes, so you need to inventory everything very specifically, and there are certain things you can't bring, like you cannot bring a motorized vehicle of any kind unless you are a returning Ecuadorian citizen. And a lot of people ask us, well, what about those van lifers that drive through Ecuador? You can have a car in the country for 90 days before registering it. Unfortunately, you cannot register a foreign car. It has to be legally imported by a dealer, so you cannot register your car here, so you can't bring it.
Exactly. There you go. We didn't bring anything. We came with our 2 dogs, and each of us had 2 suitcases and rented a fully furnished house in Cuenca and then a fully furnished condo in Olón.
Yeah, you can buy most things here. They have furniture stores, kitchen stores. Our favorite one is Sukasa. It's a lot like a Crate and Barrel. Corral is a lot like a cross between Walmart and Home Depot. They have pretty much anything that you would need. So you can find everything here. You definitely do not have to bring your stuff.
No, and if you're not sure what you want to do, it's a good idea to go out and take a look at and see what's available. You can also get things cheaper by going to consignment stores and hitting up the garage sales. So it's a good way to help decide if you want to do what we did and come up with your suitcases or bring a container.
Our next tip is to meet with other expats while you're on your exploratory trip in Ecuador.
Yeah, it's great to meet with other people because not only will you make new friends, you'll get their insight and perspectives.
Yeah, and it's nice to get other perspectives besides ours.
Yeah.
You hear our perspective all the time, so it's really important to meet with other people to see what they have to say. They can also give you ideas about what neighborhoods to live in or look at and give you some ideas about things to do and see while you're here.
Exactly. And you can meet with people before you come to Ecuador virtually by checking out groups on Facebook. All of the major cities have their own Facebook groups, so you could check out Ecuador Expats or Cuenca Expats. Manta has one. We have Alone Life here. So you'll be able to connect.
Yeah, and if you don't like Facebook, a lot of people aren't using Facebook anymore. We have a private Discord server for our patrons on Patreon. It's very active. We have almost 500 members in our Patreon community now. And a lot of people live here already. They're really happy to answer questions that you might have or meet with you when you arrive and talk to you in person.
Yeah, they're super helpful.
Yeah, we'll put a link to that right up there so you can go learn more about it. It's really inexpensive and highly valuable. It helps take the mystery out of the move.
When we stayed at Apartamentos Otorongo during our exploratory trip, we also met a lot of expats.
Yeah, I call that the expat landing zone in Cuenca because so many expats stay there. Javier and his family speak English. It's a great location, so it's really popular with expats. That's where we met a lot of our first group of friends when we got to Ecuador. And our last tip is to take some time to smell the roses and be a tourist while you're here.
Yes, go out and have some fun.
Yeah, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. So if you're going to Cuenca, go to Baños and sit in the hot springs and the mud pool for an afternoon.
One of my favorite places to visit in Cuenca is Pumapungo, and I like to go and see the ruins and then check out the shrunken heads.
Yeah, and there's several day trips outside Cuenca, like what's it called?
Inca Pirca.
Inca Pirca, Chortolake, Gualaceo. There's so many things to see around
so
Cuenca.
much.
If you're going to Vilcabamba, hike up Fandango. That's a really cool rock formation. Or go check out Podocarpus National Park. In Cuenca, Cajas National Park. Oh my God, the lower Cajas is just stunning.
It is beautiful. And then come to the coast, you can lay on the beach, you could take a surf lesson, go snorkeling. So
Go
much to do.
Isla de la Plata. We just did a video there. It's incredible to see the blue-footed boobies. There's lots of stuff. You can go kite surfing. You can go bird watching, see all the hummingbirds. If you're going to Quito, there's all kinds of stuff to see. You can go to the equator.
Yeah, latitude Cerro Cerro.
And Baños, the big Baños in Ecuador, is located just south of Quito. That's a great place to spend a few days. Also, the Mindo Cloud Forest. You can see toucans in real life toucans.
Or you can come and hike where we did and see those howler monkeys.
Yeah.
There's so much to do. This country is so diverse. It is truly incredible.
Yeah, but again, don't travel too much. Try and stay local while you're here so you get a better feel for it.
The best advice that we can give is to come to Ecuador with an open mind.
Yeah, you're not in Kansas anymore. This is not like home. A lot of things are going to be very different here, so be prepared for a little bit of culture shock.
Yeah, but it's so amazing. Focus on the beauty and the adventure and all the incredible things that Ecuador has to offer.
Yes. All right, I think that's all we have for this video. I will put links in the description to everything we talked about in this video, so please go check there if you have more questions about any of the things we discussed.
And if you like this video, leave us a thumbs up, please.
All right, guys, hope you have an unconventional day, and we will see you all in our next video.
Ciao.
Ciao.